industries and organizations. He holds a BBA in Business Information Systems from the University of Cape Coast, Ghana, and has a proven track record in the IT industry. With expertise in Microsoft Dynamics 365, Microsoft Power Platform, and IT service management. Mr. Akerele's career has seen him work in roles such as technical architect at KPMG, Microsoft Business Solutions Malta, technical support engineer, and lead technical support officer at Bolosh Integrated Services. He actively participates in tech community events, webinars, podcasts, and blogs, sharing his knowledge through various platforms. His dedication to excellence and his eagerness to take on new challenges and opportunities are evident in his work and contributions to the IT field. His expertise and passion makes him a valuable asset in any IT-related endeavor. And it is such a privilege to be having Mr. Funsho Akerele join us today to take this session for us. At this point, I would like us to please unmute our mic and give a round of applause to Mr. Funsho as he takes the lead.
You're welcome.
I can't hear that. It's not loud enough.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
You have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much for the warm reception. Okay, kindly let me know if you can see the content on my screen.
Yes, sir.
Buki, you can stop sharing.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. I know I have some of my time is already eaten, so we'll see how we can make do of what we have for the next, let me just say 35 minutes. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, once again. So I'll be trying my very best to introduce us to data analysis, and we'll be looking at it from the standpoint of unleashing the power of data. And I'm sure many of us would know what data is, but would try as much as possible to split them into bits and the different areas and how we can come in and participate in it. So we'll be exploring the world of data analytics rather, and we'll also be looking at it from the point of how we can harness insight and then drive decisions. So like it said, my name is Funsho Akerele. So this is what I look like now. So yeah, so I work with the Microsoft Business Solutions here in Malta, and to the agenda straight up. So I'll be introducing us to data analytics. We'll be looking at the types of data analytics that we have. Also, we're going to be looking at the processes that is involved in data analytics. Then we would have a Q&A session. Then we'll have a conclusion. So it's going to be a very interesting ride for each and every one of us. So before we get into introducing data analytics, so just let me explain what data is in its list form. So data is basically any form of I wouldn't say information, because combination of data forms information. So data contains raw fact. Okay, raw fact. It could be in numerical values. It could be in words. It could be in any form. It could be files. Okay, all of those come together to form your data. So data are raw fact that you get to bring together to then begin making sense out of those data. So basically, everything you do, your life on a day-to-day basis is generating data. Okay, as you are waking up, you are generating data because you're having a wake-up time. As you are going to the office, you have a resumption time. Those little fact, raw fact that we are seeing, they are actually data. So that's why you can actually look at someone's. If you, most of us today with our smartphones, you can get to see things like idle times, summary of your entire week, and you see what apps you spend most of your time on. All of those are basic data that were being gathered and which formed the entire summary that you are currently seeing. So when we talk about analyzing of those set of data, it simply means that you are going through the process of collecting those data, okay, in any form, either structured or unstructured. Structured meaning that those data could actually be in a database somewhere. That means your data are stored in rows and columns. And some unstructured data, it could just be words, text, or even files that you then need to also connect to. So data analytics is the process of examining, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data so that you can extract meaningful insights, you can identify patterns, and also you can notice some trends. Okay, it involves using various techniques, which we'll discuss some of those techniques in this training. And also, there are tools that you can get to use to make informed decisions. So now we've been able to establish that data are raw fact, and we generate this data on day-to-day basis, depending on what we do or what business we are in. So every of us are part of an ecosystem today of data generation. And as it stands now, this is a sector that I can boldly tell you that even in the next 50 years, 100 years to come, it's a very viable sector. Like you can actually take a career in this and you will continue to be prospectful every time of the year as the data world transitions. You also transition with it. So there are some importance that we need to take away from data analytics in today's world because data analytics is evolving. It's not what it used to be years back, like 50 years ago, 20 years ago, even last year. It's very much evolving. And data analytics is playing a pivotal role, okay, in modern society. And part of those roles are around making informed decisions. So with data analytics now, you can't make decisions based on assumptions, okay, because everything is data driven. You have your insights, and this gives either you as an individual or your organization, okay, to make decisions that would lead to better outcomes. Also, you will be able to risk mitigation, whereby you get to analyze data that helps you to identify risks and devise strategies to minimize those risks. So it means with data that you generate, you can get to know what to do. You can preempt, okay, based on the fact that you currently have at hand. Then also we have cost optimization. So for many of us for someone like me, I would use myself as example most of the time. So of recent, I said, okay, I want to start keeping track of my monthly budget, my monthly allowance, the salary, and everything. And I saw that I could actually save more, invest more, and cut down on some certain things. Okay, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have some data. So I have past data of the amount I've taken for Uber, the amount I've spent on groceries. I have a trend. Okay, over a period of time, I have those data. So the apps that you get to use, the bank statements that you have, those are your data points. Okay, those are your data points. So I'm talking from a personal perspective. If it's for organization as well, it can be that. Okay, it can be that as well. So you can get to optimize cost by analyzing things like, for instance, resource allocation. And in my own case, it was not resource allocation, but allocation based on my needs. Okay. And also you get to save cost. And if your business is looking at resource allocation analyzing, then it means that you can also save costs and improve efficiency. We also have objective decision making, which is you with your data, you'll be able to have a reduced reliance on assumptions and promote fact-based choices. Many investment companies, they always utilize data. Okay, like the day-to-day, the individuals there, they work and breathe data. Some other point that I didn't bring up on the slide is things around productivity. Okay, so timely data access allows proactive responses to changing situations. Okay, also you can have a reduced bias. Some of us might want to be biased with some decision making, but when you see the data, when you see the fact, you won't be able to make decision based on biasness, but you make a decision based on the fact that you have. And people say numbers don't lie, okay, but try as much as possible not to falsify the numbers, because if numbers are falsified, then definitely the numbers would lie at the end of the day. So that's where cleaning of the data and those other ones would actually come in. So in looking at the objectives or the types of data analytics that we have, there are four of them. Okay, so we've mentioned or we've described what data is, what data analytics is, and also now we've seen the importance of data analytics. So how can we start arriving at making those informed decisions? How can we get to that point? So these are the types of data analytics process that are out there, okay, or the types of data analytics that are out there. So one is the descriptive analytics. Now, I remember when I was in the university, we used some statistical tool. Now, I don't know if it has changed. It used to be SPSS. It was an IBM. Yes, SPSS. It was an IBM tool. And today, yeah, I'm sure today many of us are using some other tools. Like my younger brother who is in Funab just spoke to me. I said, "Oh, is it SPSS you guys are using?" He said, "No, it's not SPSS." I was like, "Oh, really?" So the tools are also changing. Okay, the tools are changing. So some of these tools, they lend themselves to the different techniques that are out there. So we have the descriptive analytics, and when we talk about descriptive analytics, it's talking about understanding historical data, okay, and identifying patterns. So when you want to have descriptive analytics, it means you are looking at, okay, how many years ago you are taking data of not just the current year, you are taking data of several prior years or several prior months to be able to identify some patterns. So for instance, I picked up my balance sheet and the organization picked up their balance sheet and they want to identify what is or the trend of consumption of, let's say, or fuel or gas within the organization. And I'm sure petrol would be one that would be on the rise. So we also have diagnostic analytics. It's different from descriptive. We'll be looking at them, we'll be breaking them in silos as we go further down the line. So diagnostics is more like you are investigating. Okay, it's more like you are investigating, finding a root cause. Okay, root cause analytics. So here you are going to be looking at a certain event that occurred. Okay, you are looking out for trends or identifying root cause for a certain event which occurred. We also have prescriptive analytics. One second. Okay, so we also have prescriptive analytics, and the prescriptive analytics is around you being able to forecast, okay, forecasting future trends based on those historical data that you received from descriptive analytics. So in a way, one thing I've noticed over the time, over the years, is that one of these types of analytics will lead to another. Okay, you can start with an investigative which is a diagnostic analytics, but at the end of the day, you will need to move on to the other one. So we have then the last one here is prescriptive analytics. Okay, so predictive, you are forecasting future. Then prescriptive is then you are being proactive. So you are now saying, okay, we've identified what went wrong. Now, how can we then mitigate some of these occurrences? So prescriptive analytics is going to be based on you being able to recommend, okay, the actions that you want to achieve a desired outcome on. Okay, so moving on to the next, so we'll be picking them one after the other. So we'll be starting first with descriptive analytics. So descriptive analytics, this involves the process of analyzing historical data like year, month, okay? You've been able to drill down, and then you are understanding trends in order for you to be able to evaluate some metrics over time, and this provides insight into past behaviors but does not predict future events or trend. So you are just doing a descriptive to just gather information, gather the fact, okay? You are not proposing a solution, which is why I said you can start from a certain type of analytics and then you evolve into the other ones. So an example here is you having a sales report that shows revenue and expenses over a period of time. Now, that's analytics that you have regarding your sales report, okay, or with regarding the organization's revenue on sales, you would definitely identify trends in it. Okay, you would definitely identify trends in it. But at the point of being descriptive, you are not going to be making any suggestions at that point. So with these, you can use visualizations. Okay, so if you are using Power BI, we'll be getting to the two parts. So I'll be asking some questions at the end also. So kindly take note of some of the things I'm making mention of. So I've made mention of one statistical tool, which is SPSS by IBM. Then the second one is Power BI, okay, by Microsoft. So the Power BI, for instance, or the SPSS, any of the tools that you are using, they definitely will have some visualization options for you, because with these visuals is what will make your data come to life. Okay, with data, I mean, with the visuals, you get to understand your data better. You can't make much sense of your data without visualizations. So you need things like your bar chart, your maps, your Gantt chart, your line graph, okay? Either of those tools, I mean, those visuals to help depict your data. So when you're working with descriptive analytics, these are the type of visualization techniques that you use. You use the bar charts to represent the different categories. You can use a line graph to show trend. You know, line graph, you have your bar and then it shows the different trends. Then also you can use a pie chart, okay, to depict some parts. So you can use these interchangeably depending on the needs of the business at that particular point in time. So we have diagnostic analysis, which is majorly around root cause. When you hear diagnostic, it means that we want to find out why this happened, what caused this to happen. Okay, so with diagnostic analytics, it's a crucial aspect of data analysis that delves into cause of trends. Now, not just trends, okay, but what caused the trends. So currently, we know the weather is rapidly changing over many regions of the world right now, and we are looking at global warming. Okay, now we've moved past the stage of descriptive analytics, okay, identifying how many rainfall we have in January, how many we have all over the year, across the year. Now we've moved to the point of, okay, this is the trend. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? Is the number of rain we're having increasing? Is it decreasing? At the end of the day, we are saying, okay, let's now find the root cause. Okay, let's begin to find the root cause. Okay, the ozone layer. Okay, let's reduce burning. Let's preach global emissions. Those are the results of some analytics that were being carried out. Okay, so even today, you as an individual, you can sit back and then think of a problem and then gather facts on those problems. Then you can begin to prefer solutions. So there are several problems out there today, and you can actually sit down to think of some that you can actually find or prefer solutions to, because data is everywhere. You can even get data online. You can get data online. So with diagnostic analytics, so it serves as a logical progression after descriptive analytics. So after descriptive analytics, the next thing would definitely be diagnostic analytics, because we want to know the why. Okay, and this helps you to identify trends, but not explain why they occur. So it lets you explore the diagnostic analytics in more details. So in looking at the root cause analysis, we have about two key concepts here. It could be more than this, but these are like the basic ones. So we have the hypothesis testing, and we have the correlation versus causation. So when we say hypothesis testing, it is the statistical process that helps prove or disprove assumptions, okay, in the diagnostics analysis. Then for the hypotheses, they are historical as well, oriented. That is, for example, this month's sale declined was caused by a recent price increase, okay? This month's sale went up by, let's say, 50% because it is summer. So definitely in summer, you have more people in a certain region, okay? So if it's correlation versus causation, then you're looking at when exploring relationships between some certain variables. So it means you have some variables that you are using to compare, okay? And it's essential to differentiate between correlation, which is a related movement, and then a causation, which is the actual cause and effect kind of relationship on that analytics or the data that you're working on. So this is an example of a case study, but let me just move to the sales trends one. So for time series sales data, so time series meaning that there are ranges of sales over a period of time, and that's the data that you're analyzing. And here, the diagnostic analysis is going to review why sales increased or decreased during a specific year. Okay, during a specific year. Now, if we pick sales, if a times series for sales data from 2020, of let's say from 2019 to 2024, I'm sure that you would see that in year 2020, there would be a certain decrease, and you can actually tell the root cause for why sales decreased in that particular year because of the major pandemic. Okay, so that's an example. So the root cause analysis, it helps you to identify and eliminate fundamental underlying issues in processes or in events. So for predictive analytics, so we've looked at descriptive and we've looked at diagnostics. So are there any questions before I move on to predictive and prescriptive? Any question on this descriptive and diagnostic analytics? Any question?
None from my end.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we'll move on now to the prescriptive analytics side of things. So with prescriptive analytics, here I have said it's a powerful tool that leverages historical data, okay, statistical algorithms, and machine learning techniques to forecast future outcomes. So this is like combining both descriptive, diagnostic, and then also some advanced techniques in order to then say, okay, I think in the future, this might be what could happen. I'm sure some of us would have watched some movies like 2024 that predicted that the world will end this year, things like that, or end of the world, or 2020, those kind of movies. And most of, or some of those are actually based on the data that was gathered over the years. Okay, because of what the climate is actually doing, global warming and everything. So that's why you see many organizations, many countries trying to ensure that they go green in this present era. That is, use electric vehicle, reduce carbon emission, reduce waste, reduce waste in the open areas, and also use recyclable materials for most of the things. Now, all of those, the world didn't just arrive at it, okay? It was based on some predictions, based on the data, historical data that we gathered over the years, and that led to making some decisions to ensure that we prevent some of those occurrences. So in terms of predictive analysis still, it involves forecasting. That's just the major thing. So it could be business forecasting, helping your organization to look at the sales trend, then predict how the trend in coming years can be. This is what the likes of Microsoft, Google, Amazon, this is what they get to use. And you would see that year in, year out, they don't get to have a decrease in revenue because they notice that so far we keep diversifying portfolios, we have more chances of scaling up our revenue. And they tend to do that. And it's been working over the years. That's why you see that there is no year that goes by that Microsoft or either of all these organizations wouldn't release new product. Okay, year in, year out, iPhone and or Apple ensures they release new brands, new brands, new brands, because they know that the new portfolios will bring about more business to them, which would increase revenue. And this is a fact. Okay, it's been proven. There is a data to show for it. And also you'd notice that on some of those trends, like if you get to some certain parts of the world today, you would see that, for instance, in the December period, you have more revenues. Why is that? It's not only because it's festive season, but it's because in those festive seasons, they bring, or let's say they do what we call off sales, okay? They do price slash. They reduce, they give discount a lot. They say holiday seasons, Black Friday, and they notice that the sales on those days increases. This has been a trend. So don't expect it to stop, because why? It's been predicted that it will happen, and it's happening. Okay. So it could be in the healthcare system as well, whereby you can have predictive models which can estimate radio emissions, readmissions rate, disease outbreaks, and even treatment effectiveness based on what has happened over time. I think one of the major predictive analytics model was in the healthcare was with childcare, which is if hands are washed, they notice that when hands are washed before baby delivery, the baby has a higher chances of survival. And over the years, it's been done. Okay, the cleaner the facility and the environment, the more likelihood that the baby gets to survive. Now that is already at an 100% rate. So you can actually have these predictive models ensuring this. It can also happen in the marketing world or even in the manufacturing world, regardless of the sector that you are currently playing in. And the good thing is, if you're not playing in any sector at the moment, so far you have your laptop, you have your tablet devices, and you have access to data, you can actually choose a market of your choice and explore. Okay, there are sample data everywhere that you can actually play with. So we have some machine learning algorithms. Awesome. So we have some machine learning algorithms also that you can get to leverage in having the predictive model, okay, forecast future events. So we have the regression models. Okay, there are several types of it that we won't go in depth into. We have the decision tree, which is going to definitely be an hierarchy kind of model. We have a time series as well model. Then we have a neural network. So at this point, then you start looking at, okay, I think we need to start looking into using some scripting or some custom code at this point. So let's then look at prescriptive analytics. And I think from here, we would move on to some other aspect of the analytics world. So for prescriptive analytics, now we've seen what descriptive does. It helps us look into the historical data and then gather the result. And then we have diagnostics that would then help us to diagnostics would help us to find the root cause of those trends that we've identified. And then we look at predictive, which helps us to forecast. And now prescriptive is what most organizations ride on today. Many organizations out there, they ride on the prescriptive model because we've known the what, we've known the when, we've known the why, but can we now know the how? Okay, that is, how can we solve this? How can we mitigate this? So that's why you see that many systems are coming in place to enforce automations and autonomy systems, like you having AI to be able to ensure that your vehicles don't get have accidents again. Okay, so those are the hows. How can we make this happen? How can we prevent these from happening? Okay, so the prescriptive analytics goes beyond descriptive and predictive analytics, but not only explaining what happened and what might happen, but also recommending specific actions to achieve the desired outcomes. Okay, so in doing this, we have some optimizing techniques, the linear programming. Okay, and this you would find used in production and transportation, like the scenarios I just painted. You'd find them in this world. We have the integer programming as well, whereby you are extending linear programming to undo some variables. Okay, and then we have non-linear programming as well. These are some techniques that you still need to dive into fully in order to understand the workings of how you can leverage these techniques with some certain tools that we'll be looking at in making or having a prescriptive model. So some real world implementation where this has been done in a supply chain system or organization dealing with supply chain. So the operation of supply chain is optimized when predictive analytics is brought in to help determine optimal inventory levels, production schedules, and then distribution route. Um, I play more in the space of the Microsoft Business Solutions, and in that space we deal more with low code, no code platform in order to create business specific business solutions or custom business solutions. And there is one of the tools that we get to use. It's called process mining, and the process mining is more like a prescriptive analytics kind of tool. Because with process mining, you can actually have it run on your staff's laptops or their devices, and it tracks the various activities that they get to do. So if, for instance, we have an healthcare system and the patient needs to come in and log a request. After logging the request, they need to book an appointment with a doctor. After booking an appointment, based on the severity of the issue, if they need an operation immediately, what needs to be done? If they don't need an operation, where do they take them to? What's the process up until when they are discharged? Now, there could be bottlenecks in the system that can be identified. Okay, and with the usage of things like process tools like process mining, with it's in Power Automate, you can actually have the trend identified. So it's going to that tool can actually let you know, okay, at this point, this is this is an effective operation. This is an effective engagement. This path or this process rather, this process is fine. From this process to this point is fine. Taking the patient to ICUs are fine. But at the point of administering drugs, then that there might be a bottleneck identified. So this tool now devices that, okay, this part needs to be optimized. And when you have this optimized, you get this result, you get this result, you get that result. Okay. So it goes a long way, okay, in ensuring that the business gets its desired outcome based on the previous trend. So if it's in an energy grid kind of management system also, you can optimize energy production and even distribution. And I think Lagos State is currently on this. Even Nigeria at large is currently on this trajectory as we currently speak. Now, the types of analytics processes that we have. So we've talked about the types of data analytics that we have. Then we have some processes that are involved. Okay, and these processes, they are the same everywhere regardless of the tool that you are using. Okay, they are the same everywhere. So first, you must know where your data is located. Okay, you must be able to identify where your data currently is. Now, after identifying your data location, you can then proceed to what? Connecting to those data. So if you are using Power BI, for example, which is a very enterprise grade data analytics tool. So you can connect to multiple data sources. Those data sources, they don't need to be related. They can be unrelated. That's one amazing thing about Power BI as well. And then you can connect to those data. So you need to collect the data, which is like the initial step. So you ensure you have the relevant data. The data is comprehensive enough. And then you proceed to data cleaning before you analyze. You don't want, for instance, some columns to be missing. You don't want null values in your report. You don't want accounts with no records. So because all of those will affect the outcome of your analysis. Okay, it's going to affect the outcome of your analysis. So you need to perform some data cleaning. It's very crucial that you do that. Then you can proceed to then analyzing your data. So if it's descriptive, if it is diagnostic, then you can begin your analysis, and then you get to use visualizations or your charts. Okay, so once you have analyzed the data, you've interpreted your findings, then you can use your line graphs, your maps, your bar charts to then show. Okay, looking at I think there's a saying that says image speaks louder than words or than voice. So if you get to look at an image, or that is, you get to understand what exactly is happening with the data or the system that you fetched those data from. Then after that, you proceed to what? To making your decision. Okay, you proceed to making your decision. Now, what I've noticed is in the career path that is involved in this, you might not be involved in this last section. Okay, because anyone who will be involved in decision making, it means you must be in either mid management level, or you are in the management level or top management level. So many of the career paths here, okay, will definitely start from you being able to collect the data, clean the data, and then you analyze and use visuals to depict those data. So the majority of the skills out there would be around this. Okay, decision making is a whole different ball game entirely, because you have to consider some other factors that even the data analyst or the data scientist is not aware of. Okay, so even if a report about global warming is brought now, okay, the scientists can't make a decision. It has to be the World Health Organization that would make a decision, or the body in charge of the geographical space, or the geo entirely, that makes that decision. So some tools, like I already mentioned, Power BI is one of them. We have Tableau. Yes, Tableau is another one, but I would always put Power BI at top, and Microsoft. So I'm Microsoft specific, so I'll put Microsoft at the top. We have Tableau, we have ClickSense, we have Zoho Analytics, we have which one again? We have the SPASS tool, but the Power BI I would say you should go for, because one, it's free, so you can actually start using it. You can download it for free and begin using it. Then also there is the use of Python programming language. So if there is a need for you to write some logics or to implement some logics in your analytic steps, then you need to look at Python programming, or R. Those are the programming language that I would say that lend more hand to help you in ensuring that your analytics journey is very smooth. But this is not if it's the fundamental, then you can just be learning it just to have a knowledge of it. But at the fundamental level, collecting your data, you necessarily don't need the Python at those stage. So if you are talking about the data visualization platforms, also the Power BI, these are also used for the visualizations. Okay, the Tableau also makes use of these. We have Sense. Also, we have Fusion charts. We have Infogram, and several others of them in the data visualization platform. But Power BI also pops the chart in those ones. So you can use Power BI for both enterprise grade analytics, or even very small scale analytics. So there are some challenges that you would face, okay, no doubt, when it comes to data analytics. And one of the major challenges is with accurate data. Okay, is with accurate data. If your data is not accurate, if your data is not reliable and consistent, then it would cause an issue. It's going to lead to a big problem at the end of the day. Okay, because any decision made from the wrong data, okay, then would cause a wrong effect. So it's just as simple as that. Then you would also need to think of what impact that data quality issue would have, which is if it's wrong data, then the adverse effect of it. You need to consider all of those and also think of mitigation. So you need to make plans for ensuring that your data are checked before and they are cleansed before you then begin to use them inside of your analytics processes. Also, we have data privacy and security concerns. This alone is a career on its own because why? Data privacy, security concerns evolve not around just your organization's data policy. It evolves around GDPR, that's the General Data Protection Regulation. Also, it evolves around the region where you are located because you also need to ensure that your data privacy or the policies that you have are in concurrent with that of the geolocation you are. If you're working in the banking sector, there are kind of data that you shouldn't keep for, I think, more than 10 years in the bank. So all of these bodies, institutions, they have their policies, and those policies should be adhered to. Okay, those policies should be adhered to because a lot of companies today are getting fined. I think about in 2000 and was it 2019, Facebook faced a charge in US on data privacy. Currently, TikTok is undergoing the same thing. So there are lots of companies that are coming under the microscope with regards data privacy and security. So ensure that you are collecting the right data, okay, and you are not keeping them for longer than expected based on the privacy policy in that body or in that region or institution. Then we have talent shortage. So as we speak, there is a lot of demand. I was speaking to a colleague of a brother of mine not too long, and there are so many opportunities out there, but the individual, the how do they say it? The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few, and it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. There is a lot of need for data analysts out there. There is a lot of need for data scientists out there. It can't go out of extinct because the data generated year in year out is not. It's in an exponential rate. Like you can't measure it. It's so high when we look at the data being generated, and we need people to mine this data. We need people to break this data down, help us identify these trends, and then make sense of it. So some of the future trends are in data analytics involve around artificial intelligence integration. So today we have Copilot, we have ChatGPT, GPT-4, we have I think Google has their own AI. So AI is actually coming into every corporation. So meaning that whatever data you're analyzing today, you can leverage AI. So if you're learning data analytics now, you can also pick up a career path in understanding AI as to how you can have it with data analytics. They go hand in hand as we speak at the moment. Also, we have edge computing for real-time analytics. We have that as well. So there's a lot of benefits with let me dwell on the AI more because I play more in that space. So for AI, it means that you can automate your processes. Okay, you can automate any repetitive tasks. You would get to save time because you wouldn't be collecting the data every time. You can build an automation system that collects the data, check if there are values that are not required, spools them off, or send those records back to the people to populate the right information. You can have that running in the background, and you are saving time. You are saving a lot of resources as well when you bring AI integration into data analytics. So we have edge computing, which is majorly around real-time analytics. So these you would need to work or have a cloud understanding how the cloud technology works. Okay, that's for instance, if you are working with IoT devices, today we have Echo Dot. You can speak to your TV to go off. You can speak to your Echo Dot device to turn on your light and things. So those are also generating data. IoT are generating data. Electric vehicles are also one, and the autonomous ones are majorly playing in edge computing. And edge computing. Then we have the ethics and responsible data usage. So in the previous slide, you would notice that we spoke about data privacy and policy. So there is also the need for some organizations to have the right to use some data that they are collecting. That's why you'd notice that many applications you install today, majorly on the iOS, Apple, I haven't seen much on Android, you get the notification after installing those apps that should you allow the application to track activities in your device. So you can tell it to do, you can select no. Okay. So these are part of what we've been able to see that in the future trend, and this is going to come a lot more. Okay, it's going to come a lot more because we need to consider the ethical considerations in data analytics, so that the wrong data are not in the hands of the wrong people, and also it is used responsibly, and also there is the privacy is there, and also there is fairness in it, and also there is transparency as well. So these are the future trends. So there is a lot that data analytics has to offer. We can't even explore everything in this today's training. So a recap on some of the key points that we've looked at. So we've looked at descriptive analytics, summarizes historical data to understand what have happened. Then also diagnostics, which helps us identify root cause by investigating the reasons for some certain trends. And also we have the predictive analytics, helping us to forecast the outcomes using some machine learning and advanced techniques. Then we have the prescriptive analytics, which then helps us to recommend the optional actions that can be taken to prevent some certain event. Then AI integration, edge computing, these are the future, and also ethics and responsibility, the future trends. Then there are also lots of importance, but the major one are the fact that decision needs to be made. Okay, but these decisions need to be informed decisions. Informed decisions need to be made. So encouragement for future exploration. So I would admonish us that we should dive deeper, okay, into some of the specific topics that could be of interest to you, as you've seen in the previous slide. Then continue learning about the emerging tools. Ensure Power BI, Microsoft Fabric, those are there for you to then leverage. Okay. Also techniques and ethical practices. So in everything you do around data, ensure you are ethical. Okay. Ensure you are ethical. And also remember that data analytics is a dynamic field. Stay curious and keep exploring. Then in your data journey, also I'll advise you to embrace curiosity, learn continuously, and let insight guide your path. So are there any questions before we call it a day? Any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
All right, thank you so very much for the teaching. It's actually very deep. Thank you so much. Because my knowledge of data analysis before was just like, okay, Microsoft Excel, that's it. But now I could see that, okay, there is more to it, and it's actually spanned through a lot. Thank you so much. So is there any difference between data analytics and data analysis?
Okay, so data analysis, I think it's, how will I put it? So analytics is like, I'll say the umbrella, then analysis is like the practice. So basically, there isn't any major difference between the two. So it's like just saying, okay, this is data analytics. This is everything data analytics is about. Then data analysis is then, okay, let's then go do something. Let's then practice this out. So really, there isn't much of a difference between the two.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
in some cases, you'll find people using it interchangeably.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Okay, so in the absence of any, so thank you very much. It's been a wonderful time with each and every one of us, and I trust we gained something. And thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for the knowledge shared. So insightful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the session. Personally, I learned a whole lot, maybe because I'm having interest in data analytics, and you literally simplified it. I want to go further to, you kind of created the hunger in me to want to go further to learn more about data analytics. And I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Deep presentation. I'm sure every one of us on this call must have gotten one or two things that after now we would want to work with. And you know, the beautiful thing about data analytics.
I think I lost you. I can't hear. Is it just me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Sorry, a call keeps coming in.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, a call keeps coming in. All right, so I was saying that thank you for your time and for taking out time to make out this presentation. I really do appreciate it. Like me that has, can you hear me?
Actually, it keeps going and coming, but
I'm so sorry. The
I
next
can hear you
keeps
now.
calling despite ending the call. So sorry. I'm just wrapping up now. So I was just data.
I can't hear you again.
Okay, sorry. So I was
You
saying
can
about
just
someone
type
like
in
me
the
that
chat.
has interest.
Okay,
For someone like me
go
that
ahead.
has interest in data analytics, you have just
Okay.
created more hunger for me to dive deeper into it, because you literally simplify the entire concept. And the beautiful thing about data analytics is it's not career restricted. Anyone can apply it into their career. So for someone like me who is in HR, I can clearly apply it into my field. And
Definitely,
thank you
yes.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We are truly grateful. And I would like everyone to please unmute their mic to say a big thank you to Mr. Funshaw as we wrap up the session. Please unmute your mic and say thank you, Mr. Funshaw.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, everyone. So thank you
for
once
having me.
again for joining. Yes, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining the session. We truly hope that we're more than this, but I can't even explain what is going on. But the beautiful thing is, for those of us who attended, it was worth the time. So thank you once again, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.